This is the EG Copenhagen. It's kind of a nice bike for getting around town, real easy to mount. It's got that super low step, sort of a more compact frame, but fairly well balanced with that, I guess they call them a silverfish battery. It's actually fairly good capacity on that thing. This bike's about 52.5 pounds, and you know, with that adjustable stem and the adjustable seat post, I feel like it's a comfortable bike. It's something that's almost gives you the feeling of like a cruiser for getting around the neighborhood, but it does have a straight bar, you know, and so because the frame is like a little bit closer, you're still not leaning too far forward to deal with that bar, and you know, the pedal crank length and everything. At first I saw it and I was thinking, gosh, is this a folding bike because it's a little bit smaller? But I just think it's, I don't know, kind of a zippy around town kind of a thing. It does have the smaller wheels, so these are 20-inch wheels, 20 by 1.75 tires on this, so a little bit wider. You can see the tread here. It's got a little bit of grip, but definitely going to feel the best on, you know, smooth sort of paved terrain. It's got the fenders front and rear. It's actually got lights front and rear as well, and they're pretty decent. You know, that's adjustable. Got the quick, you know, kind of a finger screw right there that you can adjust on the fly, along with the rear light here. They do have to be turned on with switches like I'm doing right now. They aren't wired into the battery pack, and over time you might have to replace the light separately, or if you park it, you forget to turn off the light, it could burn out more easily. So, you know, it's not quite as fancy, but this bike is about $1,100, so it's very affordable, and it does come in white or light blue. You know, it's kind of a cool setup. It's neat to see this. I've reviewed a couple of different bikes like this. There's like a Bezfi bike that's sort of smaller and more compact, and that one's full suspension. Costs a lot more. This one doesn't have suspension. It's an aluminum frame with a steel fork, and again, with those smaller diameter wheels, you're gonna feel the cracks and bumps a little bit more. They don't have that high attack angle as a full-sized bike, but again, coming back to what this is really used for, it's very easy to just sort of stand over this thing, you know, and I feel like that goes a long way, especially for just getting around, doing some quick little errands. And you know, here's that adjustable stem I was talking about, and you can see all these spacers right here. You could kind of mess with this bike and really dial it in for yourself. Here's the quick release on the seat. One of the cool things about this saddle, sort of a gel comfort saddle, it does have this little lever underneath, so you can easily swivel it up and get at that battery pack. So the battery pack is lithium ion cells. It's 36 volt, 10 amp hours, which is just about average. But again, the weight is sort of brought forward, distributed really nicely, and it frees up this rear rack for actually carrying stuff. And it's got a spring latch right there, close to standard gauge tubing. It's a little bit thicker than some of the other racks I've seen out there, but it does look very sturdy. Got a couple attachment points up top, couple down below. And then again, there's even room for that fender, even though there's this control box. I think this is where all of the electronics that control the motor, control the battery, I think they live in there. So they're pretty well protected, out of the way, and frankly, it looks really clean. This is a nice looking bike. Comes with these, you know, aluminum alloy. Actually, this feels like plastic. Yeah, these might be plastic. Well, I don't know. No, maybe that's aluminum. Okay, so they're, yeah, fairly stiff. Looks like good traction, and yeah, I believe well, I can't really tell, frankly, so I'm just gonna let you guess. But again, I did weigh the bike earlier, and it's about 52.5 pounds, which isn't too bad for something like this. I wouldn't expect that it'd be taken off-road. The brakes are these Pro Max V brakes, front and rear. They have plenty of stopping power, and the brake levers are they're designed specifically for electric bikes, so they do have a cutoff sensor right here, so when you activate the brakes, the motor will stop. And that's useful because this bike has a couple of modes. It's got a trigger throttle right here. Whoa boy, it's getting away from it. It's on right now. In addition to low, medium, and high pedal assist. And the pedal assist sensor, it's that disc right there. Maybe you can see it. It's got 12 little magnetic strips on it, so it's fairly responsive. That's better than some of the older bikes. They only had 6 sensors. So all around, this bike is pretty great, in my opinion. It's got a good price. It's got 3 levels of pedal assist, cadence sensing, so it's maybe not quite as fluid and responsive, but those 12 sensors help, and it's got twist throttle. And that all is activating this 250 watt geared rear hub motor. Okay, and you know, that's on the lower end in terms of power, but if you're a relatively small person and you're just going around town, that's plenty. You know, professional athletes put out like 200, 250 watts of energy as they're pedaling hard on like long distance races. So just imagine Lance Armstrong is, you know, sitting behind you, helping you out. Isn't that wonderful to think about? And then we've got, of course, standard cassette back here, 7 speeds. Got this nice Shimano SIS index shifter here. Real big, so if you're wearing gloves or something, you can access this, and it's, you know, decent quality. It's not quite as like precision as these little, you know, hang down trigger shifters, and it's not the twist kind. I see these more and more on electric bikes, and I guess it's just easy to use. Probably a relatively affordable piece, a component. Shimano Acera is the cassette, and they've got this nice sort of aluminum bash guard, so if you come up against a curb or something, you're not gonna damage that and accidentally, you know, mess up your gearing and have to take it in for a tune-up. So that's great. Really big, oversized front chainring there, with a metal bash guard on that too. So that's going to protect the teeth and just kind of cleans things up. I mean, overall, really beautiful bike, and I really do like those fenders, some of the extra safety elements. So that's a quick overview. Again, the EG Copenhagen. I'm just gonna hop on this thing and zip around the parking lot a little bit, and we can see how it works. I'm actually gonna go get my helmet real quick because I forgot about that. Okay, we're back in action. Safety first. To turn it on, you insert the key and you twist to the right, and then the key has to stay in. So that's sort of a complaint I have. You know, I've mentioned this on other bike reviews. That just means that the other keys on your keychain can rattle around a little bit. Thankfully, they're out of the way. I mean, your legs are up here. It's probably not going to get kicked right there. And a lot of people say, oh, you just get a little carabiner, like I have on my keys right here, so you can quickly disconnect. I still just would prefer that you could take the key out. So I'm going to say that's a negative right there. It's not a deal killer. And then this kickstand can be a little bit funny at first. You're like, why isn't it going? Well, you have to like push that little extra part to get it up, but it works well enough. Once the key is in and everything, you just press this power button, and then the display lights up. And this is a, you know, basic LED display. It's giving you some general idea of how full the battery is. Got 4 LED dots there. It's just a voltage meter. So sometimes when you use bikes like this, if you floor it, you can actually see the battery kind of like it's going down in voltage. It's interesting. You're not going to be able to tell how fast you're going. Top speed 20 miles per hour on this thing. You're not going to be able to tell how far you've gone. Some of those other, you know, nicer displays would have that, but this is simple. It keeps the bike affordable. And then you press, you know, the mode button. You go from low, medium, or high when you're riding. And then these really hard ergonomic grips. So they are ergonomic, and they do actually feel pretty good, but they are hard. This is like, it's like plastic, you know, very more plasticky. It is rubber, but it's just, it doesn't feel super duper soft. I'm just gonna hit the throttle here. So noticeably softer than some of the other e-bikes I've tested. It is only a 250 watt motor. That keeps it, you know, a little bit lighter. And again, it's like a cost thing, so it keeps the cost down. But we are not up to 20 miles per hour right now. That said, I'm not pedaling, we're going, so it's not too bad. Now I'm gonna do pedal assist real quick. There we go. Pretty responsive. Yeah, you know, gets the job done. And then those brake levers, at any time you pull those and the motor will cut out, which is great. It's pretty good all around. Fun little bike and definitely affordable. That is the EG Copenhagen. For the full write-up on this with all the specs and other EG electric bike reviews, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.